Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this video session which we are discussing about the types of syllogism. Previous video में हमने डिस्कस करा था कि मीनिंग क्या होता है सिलोजिज्म का, और अब इस वीडियो में हम लोग जो टाइप्स ऑफ सिलोजिज्म है, जो हमने पहले 5 प्रकार के टाइप्स जो वी हैव ऑलरेडी स्टडीड, in which we talked about conditional, categorical, ethymeme, and polysyllogism, as well as disjunctive syllogism. अब उसी को हम कंटिन्यू करते हुए अब जो डिफरेंट और प्रकार के सिलोगिज्म है उसको हम इस लेक्चर में डिस्कस करेंगे. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's start with the types of syllogism. Then we have already discussed the previous 5 types of syllogism. Now we are continuing with the 6th type. जो छठा प्रकार का सिलोगिज्म है उसे हम लोग कहते हैं सोराइट्स. A form of polysyllogism. Okay, it is the same as a polysyllogism. Same as polysyllogism, where several premises leading to a single conclusion. Okay, polysyllogism में क्या होता था कि different premises थे, उनको हम लोग जोड़ रहे थे. Okay, but when you talk about सोराइट्स, okay, so सोराइट्स में क्या होता है, जो आपका जो फर्स्ट प्रीमाइस होगा, the first premise where which we are talking about dogs, that will also be mentioned in the last premise, the conclusion. And the last premise will also be mentioned in the conclusion. So if there are different premises, and when you're talking about the conclusion, you will see there is a linkage between the first premise and the last premise. If that is true, then it is known as sorates. A series of statements where the predicate of one becomes the subject of the next. So predicate of one becomes the subject of the next. Now, example is all dogs are mammals. Okay, all dogs are mammals. All mammals are animals. All animals are living beings. Therefore, all dogs are living beings. So, dogs are mammals. Okay, all dogs are mammals. Then all mammals are animals. All animals are living beings. Therefore, all dogs are living beings. So, this is the perfect example of sorais, where which the first premise, this is the first premise, the first premise where which there is a predicate, okay, this is the predicate, is being followed by the subject. Here the subject is, and in this final conclusion, the first premise, the conclusion, the subject of the first premise, so this is the subject of the first premise, connects the predicate of the last one. So the predicate of the last one is living beings. So all dogs are living beings. So look for a chain of reasons with multiple premises leading to one conclusion through which you can understand, आप समझ पाएंगे कि सोराइट्स क्या होगा. ठीक है, तो सोराइट्स का ज्यादा कुछ मतलब नहीं है. मतलब सिंपल से ये समझिए कि अगर 3 से 4 5 प्रेमाइसिस दिए हुए हैं आपको, सो उन 3 से 4 5 प्रेमाइसिस के जितने भी इन्फेरेंसेस होंगे, ओके, वो सारे के सारे इन्फेरेंसेस फर्स्ट प्रेमाइस और जो लास्ट प्रेमाइस होगा उन दोनों का कंक्लूजन ही आपको दिखेगा. दैट इज ट्रू, द सब्जेक्ट ऑफ द फर्स्ट प्रेमाइस एंड द प्रेडिकेट ऑफ द लास्ट प्रेमाइस is there, then it can be considered to be as sorites. Sorites is also a type of syllogism. Moving forward, let's discuss the next type of syllogism. Then we have statistical syllogism. As the word suggests, it is talking about some statistics. A syllogism that relies on statistical or probabilistic reasoning use likelihood of probability in the premises. Structure: X% of A are B. C is A. Therefore, C is likely B. Okay. This is statistical. If we are providing a certain sort of number, okay. So here, when we're talking about statistical solutions, syllogism, we will see the use of the word most likely and probably. There are a lot of questions whenever you are solving syllogism in our competitive examination. You will find questions in amalgamations of different type of syllogism also. कि थोड़ा सा पोर्शन कैटेगोरिकल सैलोगिज्म का है, थोड़ा सा पोर्शन स्टैटिस्टिकल सैलोगिज्म, तो हम लोग कैसे डिफरेंशिएट करेंगे कि कौन सा कैटेगोरिकल है, कौन सा स्टैटिस्टिकल है? जब आपको वर्ड्स दिखे मोस्ट likely or probably, then it is talking about statistical syllogism. Example is, most students in the class are good in maths. Okay, John is a student in the class. जितने भी जो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स हैं एक क्लास में वो मैथ्स में अच्छे हैं, ये आपका फर्स्ट प्रेमाइस है. ओके, देन द सेकंड प्रेमाइस इज John is a student in this class. The first premise is x of a are b, meaning which most of the students in class. So S is the student, A in the class, are B, are good in maths. Now C is A. John is a student. Student is John. Okay. And in the class. So therefore, John is also good in maths. So since John is a student in the class and majority of the students in the class are good in maths, so there are high chances that John will also be good in mathematics. So this type of statistical information, whenever you see where which the words used are most likely and probably, then you will directly understand that we are talking about statistical syllogism. Moving forward. So these type of syllogism obviously becomes a very important portion. Now, how to differentiate these type of syllogisms are also very important. Okay, so whenever we are going to understand these type of the types of syllogism where which we have discussed so far, 7 types of syllogism, जो कि आपका एक major part of competitive examinations को clear कर लेते हैं. It's not like that this particular types of syllogism is exhaustive. There are other there are other types of syllogism also. But when we are talking about the important types of syllogism, then obviously these 7 types are considered to be the most important types of syllogism. And since your competitive examination courses are so wide and we are very much focused over providing you the information which is actually going to be beneficial for you in future whenever you're going to prepare for these competitive examinations. So we are limiting our approach to only those areas which is very much important. So whether you're talking about statistical syllogism, whether you have talked about categorical syllogism, whether you're talking about ethymeme syllogism, when you're talking about polysyllogism, ये जितने भी syllogism हम लोगों ने अभी तक डिस्कस करे हैं, ये सारे के सारे आपने कहीं ना कहीं कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन में या मॉक टेस्ट पेपर्स को सॉल्व करते हुए या फिर प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन पेपर को सॉल्व करते हुए जरूर पाए. और कहीं कहीं आपको लगा होगा कि इस क्वेश्चन को तो बहुत आसानी से मुझसे सॉल्व हो जाना चाहिए था, पर शायद वो सॉल्व ना हो पाया हो. तो उसका रीजन ही सबसे बड़ा ये है कि व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट लॉजिकल रीजनिंग, वी हैव टू फिगर आउट द रीजन बिहाइंड everything, and in order to understand the reason behind anything, we have to understand the concept. After understanding the concept, you will be much more it will be much more easier for you to come to a conclusion with the reason, with the logic behind those conclusion. And that is why there was a need to discuss the types of syllogism which we have already discussed so far. So just a quick revision so that you people can understand that yes, we are now well versed with the types of syllogism, though it will be beneficial for you to understand that what exactly are the types and how we are going to differentiate. So the first and the foremost is, when we talked about the types of syllogism, we talked about categorical syllogism. Categorical syllogism में क्या होता है? Categorical syllogism में होता है all, some or no. Remember, all, some or no. If this type of words are there in any of the premises, we are talking about categorical syllogism. If we go forward and we talk about hypothetical syllogism, then we are talking, or the conditional syllogism, we are talking about the word of use if and then. So if there is a word of if and then being used, then it is considered to be conditional syllogism. If there is a word that is being used is as either or, then that is disjunctive syllogism. Okay. And then we have discussed about polysyllogism, where will be multiple premises will be there. Then ethymeme syllogism, where which we have to imply one particular we have to assume one particular premises. Then we have sorites, which we have seen the multiple chain of reasonings here. This is what sorites was. this, the first subject and the last predicate, when they are together, they are forming one particular conclusion. This is what Zoraide says. Then we discuss about statistical solution, syllogism, where which there is a percentage that has been enumerated, and the words that is being used is most, probably, and likely. So if these type of words are there, you can clearly understand that we are talking about we are talking about statistical syllogism. So with this, we have also completed what we say are the different type of syllogism. The reasons for understanding we have already discussed. Now we will try to understand, there are some tips. Okay, that there are tips how to solve questions related to syllogism. And when we are talking questions related to syllogism, it is not that there is only one particular method to solve syllogism. Syllogism can be solved through numerous methods. There is one method which is known as the universal statement and the particular statement method, where which we are talking about union and intersection. That method has been considered to be obsolete, but still in some areas, people do practice syllogism on the basis of this particular method, where which there has been time where which this particular method has proved to be not that efficient in comparison to the other methods. But yes, still we need to understand that how exactly this universal and particular method is going to assist us in solving the syllogism. So let's start with this. Now we are going to discuss about the tips to solve syllogism, which is very important. And if you people are really interested in understanding this syllogism, I would request you all to kindly be present. Kindly be present with a pen and paper, so that whenever we are trying to solve any questions, you can try to solve those questions by yourself before we jump to the solutions. So in this manner, we will not only understand the topic, not only we will not only we will try to solve the questions which is related to this topic, but it will also improve your chances of excelling in syllogism, because you are going to practice along with me during the video sessions. So there will be two advantages of the same. First is, you will, after completion, after seeing this video, after understanding what syllogism is and after practicing it, you need not focus over syllogism anymore, because everything will be practiced here only, discussed here only. So after the completion of the whole syllabus of syllogism, I can confidently tell you that you will be able to solve every sort of questions which is related to syllogism. Okay. So now let's try to understand that what are the tips that can be helpful to all the students whenever they are practicing syllogism. Okay. So what it is saying? It is saying to excel in syllogism, it is essential to practice extensive. Okay. That is very much sure. Which is very much true. ये तो सबको जग जाहिर है, ये बात सबको अच्छी तरीके से पता है कि अगर आपको किसी भी चीज में एक्सीलेंस पाना है, तो आपको कंसिस्टेंटली उसको सॉल्व करते रहना है, उसको उस पर प्रयास करते रहना है. एंड दिस इज हाउ you will get excellence in that particular manner. And grasp the underlying concepts thoroughly. अभी जो मैंने आपसे concepts discuss करे थे, उसका जो मेरा main reason था आपसे ये concept discuss करने का, and I'm pretty much sure if you will go through other videos where which other references are made, you will not find the main reason, the main concepts that has been discussed in this particular video sessions. Why? Because people tend to jump to the solving of the questions directly, and in between they try to understand the concept. But the students, since they are not that efficient to understand the concept as well as solve the questions in one go, they often tend to ignore the concept and focus over solving the question only. And that is where they lack. So here what I have done is that I have tried to explain you the concept first. After understanding the concept, after understanding the types of syllogism, and after understanding the meaning, after taking the tips that has to be kept in mind while solving the questions, then only we will proceed towards solving the questions in future. Okay, so let's continue with what exactly this particular tips is saying. So first is extensive practice. Okay, underlining concept ko thoroughly samajhna. While every candidate develops their own strategies and shortcuts, we compiled a few tips that might be helpful for you to gain an understanding of the topic. Okay, understand the basic universal statement, all and no. All A or B implies that everything of A is included in B. Okay. No A is B. Okay. No A is B means that there is no relation, no overlap between A and B. So there cannot be any relation between A and B. This is a universal statement. Whenever there is a statement that all A are B, it means that every element of A is included in B. It doesn't mean the opposite. Please understand, guys. This is very important for you to understand. If we are saying that all A are B, can we say that all B are A? Is it true? Is it possible? No. Can we say that if all A are B, then some B are A? Yes, that is true. Why? Because when we are saying that all A are B, it means that all the elements that has been included in A are going to be in B. Okay, they are going to be in B. But every element of A is going to be in B. But opposite of the same, that all B are not A, all B are A cannot be said to be universally correct, or the statement cannot be considered to be the conclusion. It cannot be considered to be the premise. It cannot be considered to be the conclusion of the premise that we have discussed. So if we are saying all A are B, the conclusion cannot be that all B are A. The conclusion will not be true. But if the conclusion says that some B are A, then that conclusion will be considered to be valid, because there is a logical explanation that has been coming forward from the first premise that has been mentioned in the premises that has been discussed in order to conclude that whether all B can be A or not. Okay. So no A is B. Okay. It implies that now if we are talking about particular statement, some and some not. Some A or B indicates that at least one A is also B. अगर हम बोलते हैं कि कुछ A जो है, okay, कुछ subjects जो है वो B में, ठीक है? Some boys are naughty. Okay. Some boys are naughty or some boys are fat. Okay. It means that at least एक लड़का जो है वो मोटा है और some boys are fat. Some A are not B. Okay. Means at least one A is not B. Okay. So this difference needs to be understood. Okay. Now, the most important point of this particular video is that whenever there is any approach which is recommended by any of the mentors, guide, books, etc., whenever we are trying to solve the syllogism, is by use of Venn diagram. Venn diagram is considered to be the most efficient method in order to solve any question which is related to syllogism. Why is it so? Because Venn diagram are one of the most effective methods, because you can visualize that what can be a category of A, what can be category of B, and what can be category of C, and accordingly the relationship between A, B, and C. What is the relation between A, B, and C? On the basis of the statement, if you can visualize the overlapping areas and possible interactions, then it becomes very easy for you to solve syllogism. Let's try to understand how that can be helpful for us. Okay. Now, for example, are you able to see this picture? Yes. So it is saying that all A are B. Okay. So it means, and then these statements are some B are C. Then there are a statement which is saying that some C is A, no C is A, some B are C. So what we are trying to understand here, that there is a relation, there is a relationship that can be derived in regards to A, in regards to B, and in regards to C through this syllogism. It can be said that some A are B. Yes, that is true. It can be said that some B are C. Yes, that is also true. It can be said that some B are A. Yes, that is also true. We can see some C are A. Yes, that is true. Can we say that no C is A? Can we say that no C is A? The conclusion cannot be said to be true. The reason is, if you see this diagram correctly, then all the three circles are overlapping over each other. सब एक दूसरे पे ओवरलैप कर रहे हैं. इसका तात्पर्य क्या हुआ, इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि ये जो सर्किल जो रिलेशन डिराइव कर रहा है ए, बी और सी में, इसका मतलब ये है कि कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ सिमिलैरिटीज है. We cannot say that no A are C, meaning is that there is no relation between A and C. That cannot be inferred through this diagram of syllogism, which is representing the relation between A, B, and C. Understood? So that is why just by visualizing, you can understand that what exactly is the relationship between the three premises. So that is why Venn diagram is considered to be the most efficient method while solving syllogism. Okay. There are some important other topics also that convert the statements. That converting of the statements can help you with Venn diagram. You can use these statements in order to confirm that whether the Venn diagram, whatsoever the Venn diagram is saying, is true or not. Sometimes what happens is that when we draw the Venn diagram, we draw it in some different manner, and the whole answer becomes wrong. So it becomes very important for every student, whomsoever was going to, try to solve these questions, that they are not only understanding, they are not only trying to draw the Venn diagram, but also they are also able to convert the statement that has been mentioned. Because sometimes a statement which is saying that all A or B, which might have been mentioned in the statement, can also be considered as some B or A. And that diagram can be drawn easily. Yes, some B or A can be drawn, all A or B can be drawn. Okay. So no A is B. Convert to no B is A. Okay. No A is B, no B is A. That is also true. जब कोई A के बीच में रिलेशन नहीं है तो B और A के बीच में रिलेशन नहीं होगा. करेक्ट. सम, अब जो इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स है यहाँ पे डिस्कशन के लिए वो ये है. सम A और B get converts to some B or A. देखिए, these are the same thing. Okay, सम A और B, सम B और A. अपोजिट हो गया. ठीक है. कुछ A जो की क्वालिटीज है वो B में है, तरीके से जो B की क्वालिटीज है वो थोड़ी सी A में है. बट सम A are not B. Some A are not B. Does not have a direct conversion. Some A are not B. Does not have a direct conversion. It means कि अगर कुछ A B नहीं होते तो क्या हम ये कह सकते हैं कि कुछ B A नहीं होते? No, we cannot come to that conclusion because there is not sufficient premises based on which we can come to a conclusion, on which we can come to a deduction. So that is why it is important to have some premises, or if only one premise is there, then we should have what we say if we're talking about Ethymeme syllogism, that we have to assume one premise, and even after assuming, if we are not able to come to a conclusion, then that particular premise cannot be held to be true. So whenever we are going to check the Ethymeme syllogism, that is what we are going to apply. That is what the concept is, what we are going to apply in future. Now, tips to solve types of syllogism. The another portion is the different type of syllogism. Okay, categorical, distinctive, and hypothetical. So this type of words needs to be understood. You remember the words of if, then, all, some, no, and either or. So these type of words are there, and it will be helpful for you to understanding, and this will guide you the approach of solving the problem. This already we have discussed. Use at least some rule. Where you have statement like some A or B, it means that at least one A, that is B. Okay, at least one. Okay, this can help eliminate other certain conclusion or validate that them based on the minimum requirement. Okay, that अगर some B और A लिखा हुआ है और कहीं पे लिखा हुआ है no A or B, so दोनों conclusion साथ में नहीं चल सकते, कोई एक ही true होगा. Okay. Now, apply the complementary pair method. Some pairs are complementary. इसका मतलब क्या होता है कि अगर एक पर्टिकुलर पेयर ट्रू होगा तो दूसरा बट ऑटोमेटिकली फॉल्स हो जाएगा. एग्जाम्पल क्या है वो? ऑल ए आर बी, कि सारे ए जो होते हैं, जितने भी ए हैं वो बी के अंदर है. ठीक है. सम ए आर नॉट बी, क्या ये पॉसिबल है? जहां पे हम लोग बोल रहे हैं कि ऑल है, वहां पे सम बोल दिया हमने कि वो नहीं है बी, क्योंकि हमने अगर ये उल्टा होता कि सम बी आर नॉट ए, then that could have been considered. Some B are not A, that could have been considered. Okay. But some B are not A can be considered. But some A are not B, that cannot be said because this is obviously contradicting the first statement. No A is B. There is no relation between A and B. And then opposite statement is some A are B. That obviously cannot be considered to be true because these are conflicting. This is conflicting arguments, pairs. So that means that only one out of the both can be true. Either A can be true or either B can be true. Both together cannot be true. Okay. Now moving forward, if one conclusion is true, its complement is automatically. If one conclusion is true, its complement is automatically false. Recognize these pairs to quickly assess the validity of the conclusions. So I suppose you are able to understand that what are the important tips that is going to be helpful and essential for you to solve the questions that are going to be there in our upcoming videos, so that it becomes very easier for you to solve these questions. Use the either or strategies. If the two conclusions provided seem contradicting and the logic rules out one, so either one or two follows. Okay. So if there are contradictory statements, जैसे अभी हमने पढ़ा था, तो उसमें या तो फिर A होगा या तो फिर B होगा, दोनों एक साथ नहीं हो सकते. Useful in cases with the conclusion mutually exclusive and one must be true. Okay. Now, understand possibility conclusions. Now, what is it saying? The conclusion that states a possibility are different from definite conclusions. Okay. Definitive conclusions से possibility वाले conclusions जो होते हैं वो different होते हैं. All A being B is a possibility. ये possibility है. Doesn't mean that all A are actually B. Okay. There is a logical potential for this relationship under the given condition. अगर हम लोग बोल रहे हैं कि all A being B is a possibility, doesn't mean कि A जो है वो B है. ठीक है, हम ये चांस दे रहे हैं. There is a possibility in your saying. That also needs to be taken into consideration. In the same way, focus on the subject predicate relationship. Subject predicate relationship हम लोगों ने पहले पढ़ा हुआ है. Just that is what we need to take into consideration whenever we're going to solve questions. Examine the subject and predicate relationship in a statement. For instance, in the statement, all A are B. A is the subject. A is the subject and B is the predicate. Now, this relationship can be understood to reduce the conclusion कि कौन सब्जेक्ट है कौन प्रेडिकेट है. सब्जेक्ट एंड प्रेडिकेट आपको समझना जरूरी है, क्योंकि बहुत सारे बच्चे मैंने देखा है जो क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करते हैं, उनको शायद यही नहीं समझ में आता कि क्या सब्जेक्ट है क्या प्रेडिकेट है, उनको क्यों सब्जेक्ट माना गया है क्यों प्रेडिकेट माना गया है, और उनके बेसिस पे कैसे हम कंक्लूजन डिराइव कर सकते हैं. ओके, दैट आल्सो नीड्स टू बी कंसिडर्ड. Now you can memorize these common valid inferences, which is going to be universal whenever we are going to solve the question. But I would not recommend these things to you because obviously we are going to solve the questions through Venn diagram. But in the end of the day, if you can just go through this, so it will be better for you. Certain inferences are universally valid. कुछ ऐसे inferences है जो हमेशा सत्य होते हैं, जैसे कि all A are B. All A are B इसका एंड ऑल बी आर ए. ठीक है, अगर ए ऑल जो ए है वो बी के अंदर है और जो ऑल बी है वो सी के अंदर है, इसका मतलब क्या होता है ऑल ए आर सी. सपोज दिस इज वेरी क्लियर. नो ए इज बी, देयर इज नो रिलेशन बिटवीन ए एंड बी, एंड सम ए आर सी, बट देयर इज सम ए आर सी डज नॉट इंप्लाई दैट सम सी आर नॉट बी. ठीक है, तो यू कैन नॉट कंसिडर इट टू बी ट्रू. नो इज बी मतलब कोई रिलेशन नहीं है, तो ए एंड सी के बीच क्या रिलेशन, कहीं सी और बी के रिलेशन को डिराइव कर सकते हैं? इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. सो दैट इट मींस दैट दिस पर्टिकुलर कंक्लूजन कैन नॉट बी टेकन इनटू कंसिडरेशन व्हेनेवर देयर इज अ वर्ड नो यूज. सम ए आर बी, ओके, सम ए आर बी, देयर आर सम ए व्हिच आर बीइंग बी, एंड सम बी आर सी. सम बी आर सी does not imply that A are some A are C. Correct? So we cannot come to a conclusion because there is no direct linkage between A and C. There is a link, there is an intermediary, that is B, between A and C. So it can be said that some B are C, it can be said that some A are B, but we cannot say that some A are C. Okay, very important point to discuss and memorize. And I would obviously recommend you that if not memorize it, at least you can keep it in mind, because sometimes this type of inferences are going to be very much beneficial for the students. Okay. So with this, we will be ending today's today's lecture session, and we will continue with these remaining tips that needs to be understood, that needs to be solved whenever we are going to solve any question which is relating to syllogism. After the completion of these topics, we will just revise all the contents that we have studied, the concept that we have studied so far, and all the students much awaited the concepts of syllogism that we have understood so far. We are going to apply in the practice questions. We have compiled a total of 50 practice questions for all of you that we are going to discuss in a systematic manner, which will assist you in understanding that how the syllogism questions can be solved. And then based on these questions, you will be able to solve another numerous syllogism questions before your competitive examination starts. And once you enter into competitive examination, I promise you that at least one portion where which you will find confidence that yes, these are the questions where which I can certainly gather full marks, is actually syllogism one. Okay. So with this, I would like to end this another session of our syllogism, where we discuss about the different types and few tips that needs to be remembered whenever we are trying to solve any question related to syllogism. In our upcoming video, we will be discussing about the rest of the tips that has been enumerated in this particular syllabus. And then eventually we will be moving forward and we will try to solve the questions that are mentioned in this particular syllabus. Once you will be able to, once we discuss all the 50 questions that has been mentioned, I am pretty much sure and I can guarantee you that the syllogism portion of your competitive examination is going to fetch you 100% marks. So with this, I would like to end this video, and we will meet in our next video, where which we will discuss about the remaining tips that we have to understand, we have to study for to have a better approach in regards to syllogism. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Bye bye and take care.